Hey guys, so what's going on? I'm going to go ahead and I talked about the FG knot. Now I'm going to actually tie an Alberto knot. I may have said Albright knot in the other video, but I meant Alberto knot. The Alberto knot is what I use most of the time if I'm not using an FG knot. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to tie that real quick. Or maybe not real fast, but I'm going to show you. I have some older line here. This is 40 pounds, which you may or may not want to use for whatever application. I have some sunline. I'm gonna do that. Alright, so come here. So for an Alberto knot, you're taking the leader and you're making a loop like this, and then you're actually going to use the braid coming from the rod to go through. Hold on. It's a little chilly out here, but I want you to be able to see this, so I'll make my shirt in the background here. So we're making a loop. It doesn't have to be super long here, right? Just one loop, and we're going to tie on here through this loop with the braid. And I believe this is like 12-pound test, so it is kind of hard to see, but it's what I have that's available here that I'm going to use here real quick. So we got the braid. We're going to go through this loop, and I like to have about 3 or 4 inches, maybe 4.5. Depending on the thickness of the braid, so that I can manipulate the braid pretty easily. Once you get this through here, you're just going to hold all 3 of these, well, it's really 2 lines, together. You're going to hold them at this point here with your right hand, left hand, whatever. This is my right hand. So, and we're just going to wrap this around both of these lines. The braid's going to go around both of those lines. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then come back. I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to try to go in between each one of these twists that I already have on there. Okay, so we're going to go back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we want to go back through here the same way, or out the way we came in. So we're going back through. I don't know how else to say that. Through the hole the opposite direction that the line came in is what I'm doing. And then as soon as you're done with that, you can pull this a little bit, and then before you tighten it too much, you want to moisten it, and then you pull it pretty tight. And you are pulling all 4 of these tag ends. There's 2 braid here and 2 fluoro here, right? 2 braid ends here, 2 fluoro ends here. You pull those, then you can go ahead and just get the singular braid end and the singular, not the tag ends, the actual line, and you pull those as tight as you can. And that knot usually will tighten down enough that it changes color almost. This braid is a little bit big. Ouch. But I'm not going to pull it any tighter than that for these purposes. And that, if you can see, that is the Alberto knot. And then you want to just clip these 2 tag ends. I don't even know if I have anything to put it with. Actually, I don't. I'm just going to use a knife. Try not to use a knife to do this, because you want to get that first cut here as close as possible. Use really good scissors. Do not cut the braid. You want to get that as close as possible so that when this is coming through the guides, if you have it going through the guides, which I suggest you not really do, that it's not catching on anything. And then the other side, obviously, pretty much the same deal. There we go. So that tag end's a little long for me, but the braid tag end doesn't really matter as much. So, but that's the Alberto knot. At least that's how I tie it, and it is a really successful knot. It's not going to come undone. Like I said, though, I don't like throwing it through guides because this can catch on the guides. If I'm throwing heavier stuff, it usually doesn't have a problem, and I've thrown, I can't tell you how many times I've gone 65-pound braid to a 17 to 20-pound leader to throw swim baits and not had a problem going through the guides. As long as they're not micro guides, you shouldn't have a problem. At this point, I would probably use the FG knot for that, but this is something that's easier to tie, faster to tie. You can tie it on the boat, and it works. It's a really strong knot. It's a great knot. This is what everybody used to tie before the FG knot for most applications of like drop shots, or anytime they wanted to braid the leader set up on their spinning rod or whatever. And you could probably absolutely use that. If I use it, I try not to get it onto the reel. So I only have, if I have a 7-foot rod, I have about, I guess you'd say 10 to 12 feet. So if I'm holding the lure in my hand, the line goes all the way up to the top of the rod and then all the way back down, and it's before it gets into that reel. So you could say 14 feet, but it's not, because that would be to the end of the rod. So it's 10 to 12 feet of leader. And that's really all you need for most applications. If you are using something that you want super finessey, you can just use a longer leader. Cut your braid back a little bit and tie on a 20-yard leader, and so that you're only casting leader, or you know, further than that if you need to. Or you can just put all straight fluoro or mono. I don't like to put straight fluoro on a spinning rod. I just like mono, but I like braid to leader 100% of the time. But if I'm going to tie something just straight, it's going to be mono. So I hope that knot helps you guys, and I will talk to you later.